Ko Swe Win, thank you for joining us today. I'm Todd Pierce. I'm the Acting Director of Communications at the Truman National Security Project. And in honor of Human Rights Day, we're talking to several people who've worked in the field. And I'm honored today to talk to my friend and someone I've learned a lot from, who is Ko Swe Win, who is a journalist based in Yangon in Myanmar, a writer, but also an activist and a thinker, and somebody who's done groundbreaking reporting on all kinds of issues, human trafficking issues, environmental issues, and justice issues in general. So how do you define human rights in your life and in your country?
To me, human right means to be able to live in a democratic nation that guarantees freedom, liberty, and human dignity, to be able to live in a kind of society that allows for free speech, free thought, free assembly, and that enshrines in its infrastructure the universal values of love and compassion for the nature and all, and most importantly, for the fellow human beings on this planet. That's what human right means to me. Human right means also means to be able to live a life according to your own conscience, not according to the wishes of the rulers or a certain political or religious systems. That's what human right means to me. All of these ideas may sound very theoretical to those who grew up in a free world, but all of these ideas are very, very personal to all of us who were born and raised in a military dictatorship. In Myanmar, where I grew up, which has long been under the military rule for decades, I grew up with a sense of strong fear, a choking fear about the authorities, which controls all the aspects of life. In our education, we grew up memorizing history, history propaganda. We study in classroom where criticism is taken as a cultural rudeness. In social relationships, those who have a record of opposition against the rulers are ostracized. My teenage years were spent in teachers where we gossip about the military rulers in fear. Then I was thrown into jail at the age of 20 after being accused of taking part in an anti-government protest. And then I lived 7 years behind bars. I spent 7 years of my youth behind bars, actually.
You were in prison because of another freedom, a freedom of assembly. So could you say a few words about how you see that connection, if you see a connection between freedom of assembly, freedom of coming together for a protest, a discussion, and freedom of the press?
Yeah, we were in our 20s, actually, so we were looking for opportunities, every opportunity to express our opposition, our dissent against the ruling establishment. So back in 1998, almost uh, uh, 22 years ago, I I was involved in a demonstration, actually, that calls for the removal of the military dictatorship. We knew, actually we were just hitting our head against the wall, but I feel we have an obligation, you know, to do something, actually, to do something. But we have to take advantage of our youth, actually, to raise our heart against the system, actually,
Right.
that oppresses the society. So we try to gather, we try to assemble a group of students, same age student, actually, in the center of Rangoon, actually. In those days, we trying to have secret meetings in the parks, gardens, and tea shows, etc. So about 60 students participated in this student protest. Almost all of them were thrown into jail. The highest prison sentence was 60 years in prison. I was very fortunate. My prison sentence was the lightest, actually, 21 years,
Oh,
21 years in jail. So some of my friends got, lengthier sentences, like spanning more than 45 years, 50 years, almost 60 years actually. And then we took it as a joke actually, we always thought the military dictatorship, any sort of military dictatorship or, any kind of dictatorship would collapse one day or another.
So you were imprisoned for assembly, and then how did you become interested in journalism?
I was already addicted to, some literature and also news actually before I was thrown into jail. I follow the South Asian financial crisis. I follow Monica Lewinsky affairs,
Okay, right.
Clinton Press Ramsey. So I follow all these news actually. I consume actually, even though I have very limited English actually, So the news became like a drama, a series of drama to me actually, So every day, and then at the same time, activism has a negative aspect for me. I want to do things actually, uh, quietly actually, I think that I have a subtle philosophy about life actually,
Mhm.
So I think that journalism gives you a combination of activism and literature actually,
Good
you
point.
know
Yeah.
what these two things can connect with each other actually. So because if you are if you are part of the activism at one time or another, you can be bogged down in some sort of groupthink,
Right.
some sort of
Right.
groupthink actually. But as a newsman, you are a free man. You can change your mind. That gives you the journalism gives you a lot of space actually, So
Yeah.
that's why I always dream about journalism actually.
That's and so when you were released from prison, it was 2005,
Correct.
and you became, and that's when I met you because you became a student at the American Center, and then you went into journalism pretty quickly after that, right?
Exactly.
How much disinformation do you see among the Myanmar public?
Yeah, Facebook is the internet in our country. So many people, uh, millions of actually we have a population of 55 million, almost more than half are now on Facebook. Facebook,
Wow.
they don't have their personal email, but they have their Facebook accounts,
Right.
so 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 in the Facebook became very popular after 2010 actually, after when the political transition took place actually, from a full-fledged military rule to some sort of semi or quasi democracy still controlled by the military actually. So during that transition, Facebook came to our life. So in the initial 5 years of political transition, there is a lot of disinformation and misinformation. From our experience, we found this disinformation is not authentic disinformation that suspected to be done by a group of people to manipulate the psychology of the population actually. We have seen a very coordinated group of people are using fake uh, Facebook pages and accounts actually, to discredit the political critics, the journalists, and political opponents in the society. We have seen that actually, but after that 5 years actually, there is a greater awareness in the society
Oh, there
about what
is.
what disinformation is, what misinformation is, and also the traditional media also became very much aware of these problems. So they try to counter, and the mainstream media tries to counter, all these disinformation activities. I think we are now on the upper hand. I also to give due credit to the Facebook. Facebook has done a number of strong initiatives over the 2 years to counter this disinformation and misinformation acts actually in Myanmar. So that has
Good.
proven very useful, very very useful. actually. The space for disinformation and misinformation has narrowed a lot actually.
We know that good journalism is expensive to produce, and it can often. You've worked on stories. I think you did a story recently on trafficking, labor trafficking story in Yangon at the tailor shop that you must have worked on for months before it was published, right? Are journalists able to do good work? Is the economic structure there?
There is a lot of space and opportunities actually for responsible journalism to thrive in in the digital world actually. So I found a lot of opportunities actually in good journalism. For example, two months ago, uh, our newsroom published a very powerful story about a Burmese political leader, you know, whose political party was the second largest political party after Aung San Suu Kyi's, National
Right.
League for Democracy, actually, in terms of the candidates contesting the elections. So, following our story, that Burmese political leader was thrown into jail. His political party was abolished, and then I received a total of $30,000 within 48 hours from small donations, you know,
Wow.
from tens of thousands of people all over our country actually. So just $1, $2, $3. There is a lot of goodwill actually. There is a lot of good support for good journalism actually, for
Good.
powerful journalism. That challenges the prevailing political system
Yeah.
actually, for
Right.
political circumstances. But if you know the readership, I think in many parts of the world, are very tired of you know the journalism actually, the normal routine journalism that churns out stories after stories actually, based on the statesmen and based on the daily events actually, that does not explain very much actually, about what's happening in the society actually.
Right. Can you say a little bit about how how your career has developed, and also about challenges you faced, legal challenges that you faced in response to certain articles that you've published?
Yeah, first I started working out as an intern for the Yangon-based a newspaper called Myanmar Times back in 2007. Then, following the widespread Buddhist protest against the military dictatorship in 2007, I left the country and then I worked for about 2 or 3 years in the northern part of Thailand for an exile political magazine called Irrawaddy.
Okay.
And then I moved back to Myanmar once the country opened up to the outside world. Outside world, I freelanced for the Al Jazeera, for the New York Times, for the Guardian, etc. But then I thought, uh, there are a lot of things I can do for the local audience. I want to tell great stories to the local audience in a global manner. So I was a little bit tired of working for the international outlet actually, or global audience actually. I can only work at a very superficial level actually. I really want to go into some of the most sensitive or controversial issues in our society. For example, as a former political prisoner, I heard about thousands of you know criminal criminal prisoners perishing in the prison labor camps in many parts of the country. It's like in the Roman era actually.
Yeah.
So I heard about all these things, some sort of slavery actually, but all these topics were never touched by any other outlet. I really wanted to go actually, uh, into those issues. If I establish my own outlet, then I will have a lot of opportunity. So
Right.
I founded an organization together with a colleague, and then I gave a lot of space, time, and opportunity to myself and to all other journalists who want to work on serious topics actually.
Right.
serious and complicated topics of the society. I really want to go after small stories and present it at a national level, you know,
Right. That,
challenging the entire rule of law, actually, challenging the entire rule of law.
so I want to get into something. How do you see the relationship between national security and human rights? And what are you looking for and expecting in this Biden-Harris administration?
I think there is a very symbiotic relationship between human rights and national security. You know, any country that does not care, any country, any society that does not care for the human rights, they, you know, uh, they are risking a great national security. Actually, they are they are the breeding ground. Actually, you know, for political and social turmoil. Actually, so, uh, so that's very important. Actually, we have seen a lot of a lot of social problems, a lot of turmoil, in the United States and beyond because of the Trump presidency. Actually, I'm not blaming Trump as an individual. Actually, so the United States actually uh, uh, is a superpower. Whatever it does, whatever road it takes down actually has a great impact actually on many countries all over the world actually. It has an impact on our life. Biden presidency actually, we see a lot of positivity actually for the greater global peace and security actually. We have the policy differences between China and the United States, between Russia and the United States, etc. There are policy differences, but there must be decency. There must be some honesty actually. There must be a strong way for the greater peace and harmony between these societies actually. We cannot neglect actually the power of this harmony, the power of this peace actually. We have seen that Trump, what Donald Trump did actually, you know, the kind of peace he did is just for his self-promotion actually. He reached out to the dictators actually in Russia, in the North Korea. We are very positive about any sort of rapprochement actually between any kind of enemies, but that must be authentic. That must be in the interest of the humanity. That must not be in the interest of somebody's heroism. You know,
Mhm.
so we are very much positive actually. I'm more excited. I was more excited about the U.S. elections than about the elections in our own country actually, because that impact, the U.S. elections impact, all the aspects of the global community. You have chosen, a path for the greater global peace and harmony, greater human security, at a global scale. So
Mhm.
I'm really thankful to the people of the United States.
And I mean, I know that you can't speak for the whole country of Burma, but among your friends and among your colleagues, like, is there something that you'd be looking to the United States for in Burma, in the region?
We felt like we've been neglected throughout the presidency of the uh, uh, Donald Trump, actually. Even though, the career diplomats at the various levels of the State Department, they have demonstrated actually, their professionalism, their care for the human rights, which is a symbol of the United States. They they did demonstrate actually, no matter what's happening at the White House actually. All these diplomats actually, they have done a good work actually, but uh, but now they are now in a greater position actually to represent the United States because of the Biden presidency actually. We have felt a great sense of peace and harmony during the Obama period. That is now returning again. As Biden said, America is back. We feel America is back actually to all of us.
Great. Ko Swe Win, thank you so much. I really appreciate your taking the time. And I wish you the best of luck in Australia and a quick, safe return back to Myanmar.